As some of you guys might have already seen, I recently played a gig with the mighty Mastodon in the Dominican Republic as part of the Tool in the Sand festival. And I'm here to tell you, it was pretty rad. And on today's video, we're going to talk about why. Hey there kids, it's your good buddy Uncle Ben, and as you no doubt read about over on Forbes.com or any other number of music publications, I recently played the gig of a lifetime with one of my favorite bands ever. It was absolutely awesome, and I know it came as a shock to many people, myself included, which is why I went over and asked my amazing Patreon community what they wanted to know about the entire experience. Today's video is brought to you guys by all the awesome questions that my Patreon community asked over at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. Sign up today. Even for just $1 a month, you can join the community and get access to hundreds of exclusive posts, downloadable tabs, bonus lessons, and so much more. This week, everybody who supports the channel, even for just $1 a month, is going to get access to a very special, super extended, and ad-free cut of this video, with more playing, more riffs, and more questions answered. So, don't delay. Sign up today over at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. I'll see you there. Now, it should come as no surprise that many of the questions I had over there on Patreon were about the gear that I used and brought along for the show. So I'm going to be talking about all that stuff throughout the video. We'll talk about the guitars, the pickups, the pedals, the amps, all those goodies throughout the duration of the video. That way we don't just have one big glut of gear talk here at the front. But since you've already got gear on the brain, let's just go ahead and start there with the first of the 3 guitars that I brought. And this is the guitar I brought along for the D standard songs. D standard, as you know, is a lower standard, much like your mom's second husband. This is my Dunnable USA Minotaur, which was custom built for me a couple of years ago. I absolutely love it. It's got the bare knuckle poly PAF pickups in it, which are really nice low output Alnico 5 pickup. They sound freaking amazing. All 3 guitars were strung up with some custom gauge strings from my friends over at Dunlop. My new friend and best buddy guitar tech, my man Fish, took care of all that tech stuff for me. And these strings I had designed like the 10 through 52 set, only instead of a 52, I had a 56 on the bottom. So the gauges are 10, 13, 17, 30, 42, 56, hut, hut, hut. Got a question from my man Daniel over here on Patreon. He asks, did they really say, can you learn 17 Mastodon songs in a couple of days?
Can you learn 17 Mastodon songs immediately?
No, they didn't. They actually asked if I could learn 20-something Mastodon songs in a couple of days, and then we narrowed it down from there. It was a lot of material, which also brings me to another question that a lot of people had, which is how did I learn all that material so fast? And I gotta tell you guys, I've sort of refined my process over the years in terms of what works well for me, so I've kind of got it down pat at this point. Because over the years, I mean, I've played with so many different bands and learned thousands of different songs in pretty short time spans. Whenever a band hands me a set list, the first thing that I do is make a playlist about it, which some of you guys will already know about. You Carmen San Diego motherfuckers. From there, I just obsessively listen to the playlist day in and day out. And if I'm not listening to the playlist, I'm probably practicing the playlist. From there, I figure the tunes out mainly by ear because that's how I find I learn stuff best, is if I'm the one figuring it out. I also had the luxury of being able to blow Bill's phone up a little bit and ask him if I was playing a part right or which of, the two parts of a harmony I was supposed to be playing. And also was able to use some of the live videos to see who was playing which part. From there, my process is to basically play the song until I fuck up. And then I restart the song until I fuck up again. And then I restart the song. I just keep doing that until I can play the entire song through. This works really well for me because then when I reach the part in the song that I fucked up last time, I can say to myself, that's the part that you fucked up. Don't fuck it up again. And then I get a little bit past it before I fuck it up again. And I find that really solidifies the songs in my head. It's just a series of fuck ups and fix ups. I did get one new piece of gear for the fest, and it was an absolute lifesaver. I've got to tell you guys about it. It's my new 3-guitar travel boat rig from my friends over at Quantum Industries, and it is incredible. It's insanely lightweight. It holds 3 guitars with this really nice high-density foam, and it's got little pouches for your straps and picks and all your other goodies that go in there. It's got locks on the side that are TSA compliant, that way they don't screw you over there at the gates. This thing is incredible. I can't believe how lightweight it is, how durable it is. All of our gear was shipped via cargo, so it was not exactly, handled with delicate care or concern. And all 3 of my guitars made it to the Dominican Republic and back without a scratch on them, and it's all thanks to this case. So yeah, huge shout out to my friends over at Quantum for getting my gear to the show and back perfectly. My main man, Roger Miller, aka the notorious RDM, asks me, what was your on-stage drink of choice? This is so boring. Bottle of water. That's it. I wanted to stay super sharp for the performance and make sure my head was as clear and as clean as the driven snow, so I just kept it pretty casual. Also, did Davey, I assume you mean Davey Stranger of the legendary Skankbanger, get mad/jealous when he wasn't asked to take part? Man, I haven't reached out to check, because I bet you more than anything, while I was on stage rocking with the band, he was probably back home teasing his hair or doing his eyeliner or something. Poser. I had a lot of people on Patreon asking what all little boxes of joy I had on my pedal board, so let's go ahead and cover that. Start off here with a Dunlop wah pedal. From there I go to the good old trusty Boss tuner. I've got an all-pedal Love Machine, which is like an octave fuzz. This here is a Horizon Devices Precision Drive. That is a mouthful. And it's one of my favorite boost pedals ever. It seems like every amp just sounds better with this thing on it. If you think you're gonna find a better phaser than one that's decked out in Eddie Van Halen stripes, you're dead fucking wrong, because the MXR EVH Phase 90 is the best. I've got the Zuma by Strymon powering the board, which is just good, clean, reliable power. Thing puts off very little heat. It's bulletproof. Awesome power supply. And one of the most important parts of my board here is the Fractal VP4. I want one of these for every single pedal board that I have. It's incredible. As you can see, it's about 4 pedals big, and it takes the place of, well, 4 pedals. Only it's fractal audio level stuff. So all your delays, your reverbs, all the sauce you can use, it literally does not get better. This thing runs in the effects loop of the amp, and it controls my noise gate, because the fractal noise gate is the best one. And I mainly used it for that multi-tap delay on some of the leads. Sounds glorious. But I also had some other fun stuff on here, like a Univibe style phase and a flanger, just to add in a little bit of texture in some of those 2 guitar moments. My patron Samuel and several other people had questions about what the hardest part to nail was, whether that be guitar, vocals, timing, or whatever. And I gotta tell you, like, the set list, I didn't really know that many songs off of it. Like, I would say going into it, I was super comfortable with maybe 3 or 4 of the songs. Some of them were tunes that I had maybe learned like years ago, and a lot of them were songs I had just never touched before. I think the one that was most challenging to get down start to finish was probably Ghost of Karelia. Karelia? Whatever. That song is off the Crack the Sky album, which is super proggy. It's one of my favorite records ever. And the structure of that song is really weird. It's not just like a verse, chorus, bridge kind of song. There's a lot of parts in it. They're all in like odd time signatures, and there's a lot of backup singing in it, which honestly was one of the hardest parts for me, and that was just memorizing the lyrics to everything. I am absolutely terrible about not knowing the words to songs, even like my favorite songs ever. So for me, the challenge to that one was just learning the damn words. But after I got a hold on the lyrics, it was really fun to sing all those backups and harmonies throughout the set list. Seems like a good time to talk about the next guitar on the boat. This is my USA Custom Dunnable Cyclops. This is the first guitar I had built by Dunnable back in 2020. This has the bare knuckle riff raff pickups in it, which started my love affair with the low output bare knuckle stuff. These things sound so awesome in this guitar. This one is 25.5-inch scale length, so I chose to use it for the drop C songs. My patron Nick asked, that Tool gig also happened to be Primus's new drummer John Hoffman's first gig. He did great, by the way. Did you get a chance to commiserate about being the new guy in an iconic band? Well, I wouldn't say that we commiserated. It's more like we co-celebrated, you know, because it was a really huge day for him too. You know, that's a dream gig for him, and obviously playing with Mastodon is a massive dream gig for me as well. We got to hang out and chit-chat a little bit before the show. He's an awesome guy. Really loved his vibe. Super chill. I've also seen all those cool like video game cover things that he does over on his channels and stuff. Maybe we should collaborate on something. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, John is an awesome guy, amazing drummer, and I'm so happy to have gotten to meet him and hang out. A lot of you guys had questions about which amp I used for the show, and like Bill, I love my Friedman amps. This is my Friedman BE100. This is one of the really old models. I got it from Kevin from Iconic Guitars several years ago. My favorite amp ever, but it was unfortunately in the shop getting retubed by my guitar tech John Cooper at the time. But thankfully, because Bill also likes things that are nice, he had an old BE100, just like mine. So I used his for the show. I love Friedman amps because they do the, you know, British crunchy thing, but with more gain, more low end, and a smoother top end, which is pretty ideal for Mastodon's tones. And I was playing that setup through some backlined Marshall 412 cabs. Can't lose with those. It's always a reliable choice anytime you got a backline selection. Kenny Roscoe asks, does playing on such a large stage / light show, etc. disorient you at all? Did it affect how you play? Not really, and I kind of got used to this playing on tour with like Whitechapel and stuff back in the day. We played some pretty huge fests in front of like 10,000 people, which you think sounds really intimidating, but honestly, it's less intimidating. At that point, it's just a sea of faces, and you can't quite make out what anyone is exactly expressing or feeling or judging you with at the show. Whereas, like, you know, you play a little local bar and there's like 2 people at the show and they're standing right in front of you with their arms crossed, looking at every note you're playing. That's actually a lot more high intensity to me. So yeah, big shows are actually kind of easier in a way because they're so impersonal in a sense. And the last guitar that I brought along for the set is my beloved Suhr Alt-T. This is a thin line Telecaster style guitar made here in the US of A by my lovely friends over at Suhr. This is an incredible guitar, absolutely amazing. And I know some of you guys might be thinking it's kind of weird to bring along like a semi-hollow guitar for the brutal drop A tuning songs, right? Well, for one, it's 25.5-inch scale, so you get a little bit more string tension on there. But I also find that having that semi-hollow design kind of does some nice low-end shelving. It's like a natural high-pass filter. So it keeps that low A sounding really clear even under tons of gain. I know somebody down there in the comments is already asking if there's any feedback problems playing high gain with the semi-hollow guitar. Not really. These are the Sir Thornbucker pickups, which are really low output, but they're still wax potted, so they don't really feedback that much. And that's what noise gates are for. And once again, the Fractal one is the best. A bunch of people on Patreon asked about which picks I'm using. These are the Dunlop T3 .88. So it's kind of like your typical green Dunlop, you know, but the T3 is like a little bit more pointier. And I have these custom printed with my little logo. Got that and my little less clicking, more picking on there. My friends over at Dunlop make those for me, and I am eternally grateful. So my man Dan Morrison over on Patreon had a great question. He asked, what was your expectation of the fan reaction in the audience and in the comments, and how has that reality differed from that? Yeah, that is a big one, because I'll tell you guys, I went into this fully expecting to have a great time and do an amazing show with one of my favorite bands ever, and then open my phone the next day and have it shoot flames directly in my face and just melt it off like I was at the end of a Indiana Jones movie or something. Because Brent is legendary. I mean, he's been a huge part of the band's sound for 20-something years now, and he's one of my favorite players ever, you know? And we all know metal fans love it when one of their favorite players has somebody else stand in for him in the band. That always goes well, right? No. So I was really expecting just to get a lot of shit about this, honestly. And I thankfully could not have been more wrong. The amount of kindness and positivity and support that you guys have shown me in the comment sections everywhere, you know, I mean, from like Loudwire to Revolver to Forbes or wherever, you know, anybody that's run articles about this and mentioned my name, I have seen your all's support all over the internet, and it has blown my mind. I was absolutely unprepared for this level of positivity and kindness. It's blown my mind. Really made me like believe in the goodness of humanity again, and I'm not even joking about that. It's been amazing. I mean, getting to play with one of my favorite bands ever is cool enough for me, but the fact that you guys were cool with it too makes it even better. Honestly, that might be the biggest highlight of the entire experience, is just the fact that I didn't get absolutely massacred for doing this gig. Seriously, I can't thank you guys enough for all the kind words that I've seen out there in those comment sections and everything. And even at the show, I heard people screaming like, congrats Uncle Ben, or like, Uncle Ben, we love you. Like, that's surreal. That's some of the most surreal stuff I've ever encountered in life, is to walk out on stage with Mastodon and hear people calling me by name. That's weird, but absolutely amazing and unexpected, and yeah, seriously a highlight of the entire weekend for me. Massive thanks also goes to Bill and Brann and Troy and Joao, their keyboard player, who's amazing, for trusting me to get the job done. Having a sub in a band is never fun, and it's even less fun when it's short notice and on such a, you know, large scale stage. So that is a huge, huge leap of faith that they took in me, and I am eternally grateful that they did. A lot of people have asked if I'm going to be on the road with the band playing some more shows, and as of right now, it is just too soon to tell. But it sure would be fun, and if that happens, I hope to see you there. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and being along for the ride. I know there's a lot of new viewers out there. This might be your first video of mine that you've ever seen, for all I know, and I appreciate you being here to check it out. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications every time I upload a new slice of fried gold. And if you want to get even more out of this, help support my channel and get the ultra mega extended cut of this video with even more stuff in it and 0 ads, be sure to check out that Patreon page over at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars, the greatest place on the internet. People are saying it, and I'm repeating that people are saying it to you, so that way you'll join up, and I'll see you guys over there. Thanks so much for watching the video. Be sure to stay tuned for some more cool stuff coming at you next week. But as for now, I recommend getting away from the computer machine, grabbing that rock guitar, and mashing some ropes. Less clicking, more picking.